Hey guys, Gavin here. I'm going to do a quick live stream tonight. I want to take just a couple minutes to talk directly to militia, to 3%. Now, what are the militia? A well-regulated militia is necessary to a free state, right? And so the right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. People often confuse this, and I've wrote about this in the past. The bottom line, and this goes back to the Founding Fathers, all the people are a militia. Well-regulated isn't simply that you have some great command structure in place. It's not simply that you have an organization. Well-regulated means well-ordered. It means well-disciplined. Discipline goes back to the heart and the mind. You can have one or two people that are a well-regulated militia in that all the people are the militia. Now, we have these groups, militia, 3%, and sometimes you guys, you don't really like me because I have a tendency to say it like I think it. I've said a lot of things about what happened in Oregon. You know, in Lexington, Concord on that April morning, the call went out, no cell phones, no emails, nothing. The call went out, 23 militias showed up, guys, to stand up to the redcoats, who were the federal government, the police, and the military of the day. Now, these were patriots coming out and saying, enough's enough. We're not going to tolerate it anymore. And as that went on, we see the birth of the American Revolution and the birth of America. Well, what's happened today? Here's the thing. I do call out militias. I do call out 3%. The reason I name it so firmly, something that you value, a person that you value, something that is important to you, you defend. You also stand up to it. You also correct it. You also share truth with it. And so when I come and I say to the militias, guys, you should have shown up, or militias need to be doing more, why are you hiding, right? It's not to come and say, Gavin has all the answers. Gavin is the only one doing it right. It's to say we have to stop living in fear. We have to stop pretending that our government has anything to do with law. So here's what I want you to do. People don't need to like me. Lots of the people back in the American Revolution that stirred the pot, that spoke out, people didn't like. Hey, in one of the meetings of the Continental Congress, they were upset because they thought Benjamin Franklin was a Fed. And he wasn't, and I'm not. But the message is simple. It's not that I'm saying militias, 3%. You know, I don't like you guys. I'm saying we have to throw out this faction. We have to throw out the whole, I'm a conservative, I'm a Republican, I'm a Democrat. We have to defend everyone's rights equally. We have to actually be the militia. See, if you're not defending liberty, you know, we got these militias all over the country, these 3% groups saying militia, 3%, and they talk tough, but they're mainly nothing more than a gun club, than a shooting club. Listen, if you're getting together and shooting stuff and talking tough about how bad Obama is, that doesn't make you a militia 3%. To be those things, you actually need to stand up. To be a militiaman, you just need to be a member of the community, right? Everyone is. To be a 3%, though, you actually have to be the 3%. You actually have to take principled action for liberty. And so understand, you've got to stand up. But understand this, and I want to warn the militias and 3%, and this is a very important warning. The militias and 3% are compromised. They're infiltrated with either feds on the one hand trying to set you up, or loyalists on the other hand that are feeding you this idea of, well, we need to work with the police that are violating our rights. We need to work with the law enforcement. Well, no, we don't have law enforcement. Law enforcement would actually defend the law, the Constitution, people's rights. Law enforcement would be getting the Bundys out of jail and all our political prisoners across this nation and arresting the judges who are presiding over these kangaroo courts. That would be law enforcement. We don't have law enforcement. We have police officers who refuse to do their job. We have sheriffs who are engaged in treason and that are complicit with that with judges and politicians. Now you go back to the founding, right? When the call went out at Lexington, Concord, the militias didn't say, oh, we have to support the redcoats. They said, no, we support liberty. We're going to support the community. We're going to support the people's rights. Guys, if you want to be a 3%, you have to start opposing the system of police. This has nothing to do with hating cops. It has to do with wanting real cops again that haven't been compromised, that haven't been brainwashed. It has to do with having real law instead of having redcoats. And so here's the other thing. On the one side, in your militias and your groups, you've got Fed plants trying to set us up. And it makes it really hard to do anything principled. It makes it hard to be a peacemaker. It's a setup, and you can't trust most of the people within your militias. The truth is you can't trust most of the commanders within your militias. But here's the other side. Many of the ones that aren't feds are loyalists. They're the charismatic politician types, and they lead militias and 3% groups and patriot groups, and they're saying, let's get along with the government, let's play along. They're watering you down and making it so the 3% are not being 3% and the militias are not standing. Now, I don't seek violence. I don't want another American Revolution. But you look at Oregon, if the militias had showed up en masse, we wouldn't have needed violence. It would have made such a statement. But the government won that battle because they didn't show up, and what the government said to us is, we're going to do what we want, and you're going to do nothing about it. Folks, in 1775, the militias showed up. In 1775, the militias were not saying things like, well, we need to work with the redcoats and kind of try and coordinate with them because they are mostly good, right? If your leadership and your militias are 3% or saying things like that, you either need to get them out or you need to get out, and you need to go out and stand for liberty. And this goes back to the forest. If you haven't seen my video about the forest, go to my page and watch it. You don't need a large group. Go out and form a tree. You just need 3 people. You and 2 others, and essentially you've got this tree. You've got a mini resistance, a mini 3% group, a mini militia. You've got people that are going to say, we're going to do what's principled and what's right to defend liberty. And as you get more of those, then you can coordinate. But guess what? You're not dependent on one person at the top of your local group who's either a Fed or who's a loyalist or who's compromised in some way. So I'm going to give you militias and 3%. Look, I love you guys. I want us all to stand, not just for Republican ideals or not just for conservative ideals. We don't need more memes saying how everyone should stand for the national anthem. Look, America has a right to be frustrated. When people are standing up and saying this system is broken, we're not okay with it, and we're going to stand against it, that's a good thing. We need to direct our intent and our hearts to principle and liberty. The militias need to stop playing army, and we need to start standing up for what's right. We need to get on our knees before God. We need to appeal to heaven. We need to quit thinking that the solution here is about how many cool ARs can we buy and how much stuff can we shoot at the gun range. What we need is to stand up, America. All of us, the people, are the militia. And if we're going to stand up and defend liberty, if we're going to have a 3%, then we need to start acting like it. Get your groups fleshed out. Get the loyalists out. If they're supporting the very people that are abusing us, if they're supporting the blue line, they're not a 3%er. They're not defending liberty. They're not with the Constitution. You can't exist on both sides. You can't both support those attacking the Constitution and also support the Constitution. Let's get down to brass tacks. Let's name the name of liberty. Let's speak the truth in love, and let's stand up for it. All right, you guys, get this out. And if you know anybody that can benefit from it, talk to them about it in particular. Let's get people uniting and working together so that we can stand up. Good night.